Hey, what's up guys? OpTic is here bringing you another video. Today is Monday and that means it is time for hashtag AskAshes episode 11. As always guys, we're going to start off with the questions that were DM'd to me, keep those anonymous, and then answer the questions that were tweeted at me, and then check to see if the YouTube video from last week had any questions. Speaking of which, if you have any questions following this video, make sure to leave them in the comments down below or save them for next week on Sunday when I ask for you to tweet the questions at me. All right, so let's get right into this with question number 1, which asks, what do you think of COD eSports? Personally, I think COD eSports is blown up and really awesome and really fun to watch and exciting. I am kind of worried for how COD eSports is going to be with IW, simply because there's been a lot of negative feedback for IW. Everybody is too busy playing Modern Warfare Remastered, which, you know, is clearly an awesome game, and I'm wondering why they're putting all of their money into IW rather than trying to support Modern Warfare Remastered or even both. But, you know, the game's still new. People might get used to it. They might change things to, you know, get feedback from the community. So there's still a lot that could change to make IW a much better esport. It's just too early to tell. Question number 2, do you know if they will ever show your rank during the game? I have no idea. Right now they show that little banner thing, which in theory could kind of show your rank, or at least your number rank, but in terms of your individual like rank matchmaking rank for whatever playlist you're playing, I don't know. There could be issues with that. People could talk trash to each other based on rank or something like that, which might happen after the game already anyways, but you know, it might not be something that they're looking into too much right now. Question number 3, how are the boys feeling about Columbus? We are excited. We are getting more and more prepared every single day. We're feeling confident. You know, scrims are going well, practices are going well. So, you know, we're just ironing out everything that we can and being as prepared as we can going into that tournament. Question number 4, how did you become the coach for the OpTic Gears team? I've kind of answered this a few times in the past, so I'm going to do more of a brief version for this. Basically, I was coaching and managing in League of Legends, and I found that I really enjoyed management positions in esports. So I started working on a psychology degree in college in order to kind of help me better understand the people that I was working with. You know, I'm working with different age ranges and different cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities and religions and all that kind of stuff. So being able to have a better understanding of how people think would help me better convey information to them and help them develop their own skills within esports. So taking this all together, I reached out to Mental back in September of 2015, offering my help and helping them, you know, make sure they found the right sponsor for them. And from there, it turned into me giving them pointers when I watched them scrim. And from there, it developed into me being a full-time coach for the team. Question number 5 asks, what's the main thing you should have in mind when creating or joining a new team? The main thing you should have in mind is chemistry, and then kind of followed by skill. But if you don't have chemistry with the team, no matter how good they are, the team's just not going to last. One of the reasons we're so strong is because our whole team is friends inside and outside of game, and we just kind of have a bond that a lot of teams struggle to emulate. So I always tell people that it's easier to have a group of friends and work together to improve rather than to find 5 good people and try to work together. Question number 6 asks, so what made you stick with Gears of War all this time? And really, it's just the culture, the community, and the game itself are all games that I've really loved. You know, I loved League of Legends for a long time, but League of Legends was having basically a brick wall laid before me that I couldn't break past because of the way I handled things. I was always very much the manager who was open and honest with the players. I didn't promise things I couldn't, you know, give them when I was building teams and recruiting players. And so there was a lot of managers out there who would promise things that they couldn't offer, but it would entice the players who maybe the upper echelon or whatever. And then big orgs started getting involved, and they started swooping up and taking all the players and recruiting them for amateur teams. And really, it just became so stale that you had to have a huge funding behind you in League in order to progress past where I was. I had the opportunity to move into Gears, which I had loved before League, so I went into it, and I haven't even considered going back since. I still love both games. I still love League of Legends. I still love Gears of War. The games are both great. That's just for me personally. Plus, I'm having a huge amount of success in Gears of War. I have great teammates who feel like a family, so I've got kind of everything that I could ask for in the game that I'm in currently. Question number 8, how does one know if they have what it takes to go pro? This is kind of a question that you have to ask yourself. Like, how much do you want it? How badly do you want it? What are you willing to do or to sacrifice in order to achieve being pro? And from there, like, what's your work ethic like? Are you lazy? Be honest with yourself. Are you only putting in 2 or 3 hours a day and then getting bored and playing COD or playing some other game? You might not have what it takes. Question number 9 comes from @Dovypones, who asks, how long do you think is a fair trial period for a potential teammate? Honestly, a scrim cycle is going to tell you what you need to know in terms of whether you should keep trying them out. For me, when I was recruiting players in League of Legends, I would give a player a scrim cycle. They would have to impress me in that scrim cycle. If they had natural chemistry with the team, if they communicated well, if they played well, then I would keep trying them out. And over time, you'll kind of find whether a player fits with your team. You know, when you get that first loss and real personalities start to show, that's when you kind of get an idea for how a player really is. Question number 10 comes from @Ori 2.0, who asks, if you could be any animal in the world, what would you be and why? I'd probably either be a cheetah or an owl. I love owls and I love cheetahs. Cheetahs are really fast, and I think it'd be cool to be able to run that fast. And owls are just cool animals. Like, they're just like, they can fly and they can see at night. Like, they sleep all the time. They can spin their heads around. Like, it's just a cool animal. Question number 11 comes from @extortions_, who asks, in what way do you personally feel you help your team the most? I think one of the biggest things that I help them with online is having them kind of question different things and rethink something that they might not do normally. So for example, you know, they could win a scrim and be satisfied with a 7-2 win, and I could pose a question that make them reconsider something that they did that they might not notice, or give them feedback that they might not have noticed because they were so intense in on the game. And that kind of neutral perspective allows them to fine-tune the little mistakes or the little habits that we have in order to help us just be that much stronger. On LAN, I help be that extra voice and kind of make sure that they're focused on the things they need to be focused on, that they're not getting tilted, or they're not worrying about like the cameras in their face or the crowds or the lights or whatever the case may be, that they're playing the game and doing their best. So I think there's kind of 2 different atmospheres. A coach can play 2 different roles online and on LAN, and I think those are the 2 ways that I help the most personally. Question number 12 comes from @Shoddy639, who asks, what is the regular age for a pro Gears player to retire? I have no clue. Gears players retire at all ages. It usually just comes with boredom or being fed up with a game. So this game will kind of be the first one where we're expecting longevity to it, and I guess we'll have to see where or when players retire. Question number 13 comes from @BooHarper1212, who asks, pineapple on pizza? Yeah. Question number 14 comes from @Jacob_MVPR, who asks, what are your thoughts on Gears of War as a game? Oh boy. Okay, so I want to start off by saying I love Gears of War 4 as a game. I think this is the best Gears of War of the franchise. I think in terms of gameplay, mechanics, movement, how the game feels in general, I love it. I love this game. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love how much the coalition is interacting with the players, with the community, getting feedback, developing new things, supporting esports. All of that is fantastic. But matchmaking is a unique experience, and I'm saying this as politically correct as possible. There is no MMR system, which means I could be playing with people significantly below my rank or people significantly above my rank. There's no leaver or quitter penalty, which is a huge detriment because I literally have a hard time playing a game where I have a full team. Solo queue players can get matched up against full 5 pre-mades, which kind of ruins the experience when you and 4 other people who've never seen each other before in the history of the world are playing against a team of 5 people who play with each other every single day of their lives. I would like to see new created maps, not rehashed old maps that they're bringing back. Like, I understand the hype of old maps being brought back to life in a new game, but I want to see new maps. I don't want to see remade maps over and over again. Like, we've done that before. We've been there before. This is a new game. This is a new era. Give us new maps. In terms of weapon damage and tuning and stuff like that, I think the second update, the major patch, really helped all of that, and I haven't really had any complaints since then. I would like to see playlists kind of get tweaked a little bit for matchmaking. It doesn't make sense to me that competitive only has 2 game types where core has a lot more, but they're not cross. Like, you can't play core escalation or competitive king of the hill and yet both have ranks that are the same. That doesn't make sense to me. So there should be like ranked and there should be normal. Like, there should be the place where people play to sweat and the place where people play to just have fun. Question number 15 comes from Crashy, who asks, if you could pick 2 large organizations from any region to join Gears eSports, who would they be? This is really tough. I'm not going to pick 2, I'm going to pick 4 because some of them are kind of tied for me. I would love to see Cloud9 get involved because they're one of my favorite NA organizations outside of OpTic. And then also FaZe because I would love to see the OpTic FaZe rivalry like we have the OpTic NB rivalry. From Europe, I would love to see Fnatic and G2 eSports both get involved. I love the Fnatic brand, though I don't know if they're quite in the position right now to invest in a team. And G2 eSports is just a really cool brand run by Carlos, who used to be a League Pro, and you know, I like that org. So I like to see them get involved with the Gears team as well. Question number 16 comes from @Mofar_, who asks, if you never got interested in an esports scene, what do you think you would be doing instead? Damn, you're hitting me with the tough ones today, Mofar. If I never got interested in esports, I really don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be going into computer science still and like the game design. I always knew that I wanted to work with games and like game development or video games. And when esports started to take off around 2010, 2011, that's when I started focusing more on that. And Riot Games and League of Legends caught my interest for the majority of that time. And only recently did Gears of War, you know, within the last year or the last year and a half, did Gears of War kind of become a viable career path for me. Question number 17 comes from @DannySolano_6, who asks, with being under a huge brand like OpTic, do you feel more pressure to compete to your full potential? See, that's kind of the good thing about our team. We always feel the need to compete to our full potential. We always feel that pressure because we put it upon ourselves. You know, like we have those high expectations of ourselves to perform at our absolute best whenever we're required to do so, like at a LAN tournament or a major online tournament. So, you know, it's almost like a different team than the one that you see online in the streams because like we click into a different level of seriousness when that happens. So being under OpTic, like we want to make them proud, obviously, but they've been more than supportive and welcoming of us. So it's really no different than the amount of importance that we put on playing well, that we put on ourselves. Question number 18 comes from @JackTheHobo, who asks, who on OpTic Gears would pick up the most girls, and the girls have to be hot? Well, Kenny has a girlfriend, Lava has a girlfriend, and I have a girlfriend. So I'm going to go with Mental because I think girls might dig the whole mysterious, stone-faced vibe that he puts off. Question number 19 comes from @CatPassionate, who asks, what is your favorite kind of cookie? Favorite kind of cookie? Easy. White chocolate chip macadamia nut. Best cookie in the world. I love them from Subway. I know that sounds horrible, but they don't bake them all the way because it's Subway, and so they're really chewy, and I love chewy cookies. Oh my god. Okay. All right, now we're going to answer some questions from the YouTube comments of last week's video. And the first one comes from Javier Davila, who asks, who in your OpTic team is the best at 1v1 situations? And did the answer to this question change from UE to Gears 4? Yes. It did change, and in UE, it would have been Mental 100%. In this game, I'm going to have to give it to Explosive. Another question comes from Kevin Ono, who asks, hey Ashes, as a player in Gears, what do you suggest on how to find a new team? I'm very tired of trying to join a competitive match solo and either having bad teammates or having my teammates quit. Your best bet is to go on the forums, like Game Battles forums or the Gears of War forums, or even check out the Gears of War eSports Discord channel. There's a lot of people in there. There's a whole section that's recruiting or looking for team. So you can go in there, you can try to find like-minded people to play with. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video, so make sure that you leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and go down to the comment section, ask me a question for next week's video, and while you're down there, click the subscribe button guys. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much for helping my channel grow, and I will see you all in the next video.